Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Julie Mann. I'm the habit fixer, and I love working with women who are over 50, who may have experienced some sort of relationship breakup and really want to regain their confidence, thrive, flourish, and age well. And today I'm joined by the completely fabulous and utterly brilliant Paul Hill. And Paul does many, many things. He is a hypnotherapist, an NLP practitioner, I'm reading this, a PTSD reliever, and also a mental health practitioner. Gosh, so many things, Paul. Absolutely. So I know today you're going to be talking about habits to stop procrastinating. I think that's going to be a great interest, not only to me, but anyone who's watching. So I'm going to hand straight over to you for you to do your stuff.
Okay, procrastination is one of those things that affects, I'm going to say, 99% of the population. It's fear-based normally because we don't want to be doing the stuff that we need to be doing. In fact, most of the things I deal with are actually fear-based, would you believe? And people go, well, how can that possibly be? It's because there's a deadline to reach. There's something you've got to do. You don't feel you're good enough. You feel you're too good. You feel this, and it just feels like a massive overwhelm. And it's about taking time out and developing skills and habits that can help you overcome the procrastination and bring a little bit of clarity. Reading some great books, for instance. So there's one book, Eat That Frog. Have you read it?
I have. It's a great book.
It's a really good book. But here's the thing about Eat That Frog. Unless you put into practice on a regular basis the lessons within Eat That Frog, you might as well have not bought it. If I go to someone and they say, oh yeah, I've got the book, I'll ask them for a copy of it. And they'll give me the copy and the pages are pristine. So they've only perhaps read it the once. There's no highlighting. There's no underscoring. There's nothing in there to indicate that the person has taken anything from those lessons other than reading the book. And psychologists say that if you want to get the best out of any book, whether it be fiction or non-fiction, you need to read it at least 7 times. Yeah?
Wow.
So if you've not read it the 7 times, you've not made the effort, you're not going to get into the habit of not procrastinating. There's another fantastic book by a lady called Mel. Is it Mel Brooks? Sounds right. The 5-second rule. Have you read that one?
I have. I've seen her speak in public. She's amazing.
Right. So you know the basis of the 5-second rule. The basis is that if ever you want to make a decision, if ever you want to get on with something, you just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And people say, well, how can that possibly work? Well, if you remember when you were a child and you couldn't get to sleep, what did your mum suggest that you do?
Count sheep.
Count sheep. Why?
Because it's a repetitive thing that takes your mind off the fact that you can't sleep.
Yep, absolutely. But it's repetitive in a specific way. You're using numbers. And when we're using numbers, we're accessing the logical part of the brain. We're not accessing the emotional part of the brain. So when you are counting, and especially counting 1, 2, 3 repetitively, it gets you away from the emotions, unless you happen to be very emotional about sheep. I mean, I suppose a sheep farmer might be emotional about sheep. And I do apologize to any sheep farmers that might be listening to this. But generally speaking, it's not the most exciting thing in the world. So that's why you go to sleep. So Mel Robbins' contention, that's it, Mel Robbins' contention is that if you count, you're accessing the logical part of your brain. Now, her point of view was, if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's an element that could allow for procrastination because you go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and you don't get on with the job. Whereas if you count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and she got this by watching a launch at Cape Canaveral one day in a hotel room. When you count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, at 1, there's action because nobody on the planet has ever gone 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. It just doesn't happen. So I found that that's one of the best ways that you can use, one of the best habits you can get into for stopping the procrastination. Because it's not that you don't know what you should be doing, it's that you've got a mental block stopping you from doing what you should be doing. And most of it is based around fear. Make sense?
Absolutely. And actually, I practice her technique, only I started counting backwards from 3 and got up.
Yeah,
And now I don't need to because I've done it so long.
yeah,
But it's absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
yeah. And it does actually work. And it works if you work it often enough, because the conscious mind learns from curiosity. The subconscious mind learns from repetition. So if you repeat this habit fixing, it will become part and parcel of who you are, become second nature. So you can do it without thinking. You'll be there going, oh, that's one, bang. And it's a case of once you've got to one, you either do or you make the decision. There's no recrimination if you haven't made the right decision. You just get on and do. Now, oh, you've got a bit of a cough going on there, Julie.
I turned the mic off so I could have a cough. I love that, Paul, because that habit is so simple, but absolutely life transforming.
Yeah, yeah. So if people are in the habit of procrastinating and they're getting bent out of shape over it, which quite often people do, they need to find a bit of balance. And one of the best things I found over the years to give immediate balance is what they call the power of the sigh. Did you know that we sigh as human beings up to 12 times an hour?
Wow.
Yep. And it's a way of balancing the oxygen and CO2 levels within the bloodstream. So you're going to do this exercise with me. Got it?
Yeah.
Are you free now?
Yeah.
Okay. So just cross your hands in front like that. That feels comfortable. You've done it many times before, yes?
Yes.
Now open your hands and move your fingers one finger breadth, either north or south, so it feels uncomfortable. Uncomfortable? It's not the
Yes.
normal way to do it. Right, okay. So now I want you to breathe in and sigh it out. Really? Next time you breathe in and sigh it out, I want you to drop your shoulders. And this time, meld into the chair. Yeah. Now, flip between the two and notice they're not uncomfortable anymore.
Amazing. You're like a magician, Paul.
Okay. So once those thoughts that are going on in your head, yeah, just take time out to just do the power of the sigh. 3 deep breaths in, sigh it out, get yourself back into a state of equilibrium, and then go for the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Use that to get you to where you actually want to be. Going back to the eat that frog, it's making a list. Make a list of the things that you need to do and pick the one that you're most frightened of. The biggest, hairiest, ugliest frog there is, and just bite it first thing. Forget everything else, just bite that and chomp away at it until you've got that one done. That's the most important thing. And then you've just got these whole little bitty frogs, and maybe a couple of tadpoles in there. What's a tadpole? Oh, one of those. Get another frog. Oh, yeah, I can get one of those down my neck. But eat the ugliest frog first. Get it done as soon as possible. There's a great book called Make Your Bed. I can't remember. I'm terrible for the names of authors, but he used to be. He's a vice admiral in the U.S. Navy. He used to be head of the Navy SEALs, and he wrote this book called Make Your Bed. And the premise of it was that whenever you go into any form of the armed forces, the first thing they do is teach you to make your bed. Why? Why do you need to be taught to make your bed? And why does it have to be done so pristinely? And why is it that when it's done pristinely, they still rip it apart? 1 is to teach you discipline. 2, you'll know better than anybody else. And 3, and this is the most important bit, be successful early in the day. Making your bed to a standard gives you that boost. That means you've been successful right from the get-go. And if you do nothing else with your day, at least when you get home, you'll get into a nice, crisp, clean, cool, lovely bed. So with procrastination, again, I link it to this, be successful early in the day. Be successful as quickly as you can. Don't let emotions get into your daily routine, because as soon as you allow emotions to get into your daily routine, you are God, I was going to use the technical term that we use as therapists. I think I will use it. You're buggered. You are absolutely you you are going nowhere, because emotion will always trump logic. And if you allow emotion to come in, it will. So get up, make your bed, be successful early in the day, and then get on with the next task, and then get on with the next task. And then guess what? It becomes another habit. Quite often people will say to me, "Oh, Paul, yeah, but that just sounds like routine, and I don't like routines." So, Julie, I'll ask you this question. What time do you normally get up in the morning?
6 or 6:15.
6 or 6:15. And the process of events, you wash up first, or do you go and have breakfast
No,
first?
no, no, no. I get up, I air the bed,
Yep.
I go to the loo, I go downstairs, I have some water, and then I make another herbal drink. Then I go and meditate. I've got a real routine.
Yeah. Here's
And
the thing.
then eventually I go back up and make the bed, but it's in that order, so I know it's going to be made. Just that I want to air it first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all work on routines.
Routines
All
work,
of us work on, yeah,
don't they?
but
They work.
we do it.
Even though I have really resisted for many, many years, but actually I just thought, you know what, Julie Kim, you're being a bit of a teenager here. Just get it done, because actually routine works, gives you that structure. Yeah.
Yeah. But we are, as human beings, we are creatures of habit. You've heard that said many times before. Here's the key. It's not that we don't like routine. We don't like routine that's foisted on us. We don't like routines that we're told to do. We're quite happy to build our own routines, but we don't like being told to do. Message: learn that sometimes it's good to be told what to do, because you don't even need to think. You don't need to think. Somebody just tells you. And that's going back to the armed forces. They just tell you exactly what you've got to do, what time to get up, what time, to allow you to build that routine, so you don't need to think. You just get on and do. Nobody in the armed forces, when they're out in the field, spends a lot of time procrastinating, because they're trained to do what they do. And that's simply what you need to do with your mind. Treat your mind like you would any muscle in the body. Train it. And once you've trained it, it's amazing. It doesn't go back to its factory settings unless, and here's the key, unless you stop the training.
Yeah. So if you interrupt the pattern, if you interrupt that habit, if you have a couple of days off because you've changed your environment, maybe you might struggle then with getting into
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's key. Repetition, 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 and various techniques to use to just calm yourself down, so you can take you back to equilibrium and get back on with exactly what needs to be done, i.e. the repetition. The other great thing to help with procrastination is get somebody who you can be accountable to.
Yeah.
Someone like a VA or a coach or your best friend, anybody where you can say, look, I have an issue with this particular thing. I need to get it done, but I find that I have problems getting it done. Will you help me by ringing me up at 9 o'clock in the morning, or we'll meet up every day at 9 to make sure that I've done these things, to get on with them. And accountability is a great way to stop the procrastination.
So important. Yeah. And you don't want anyone that's going to let you off the hook, do you?
No,
No.
it has to be, excuse me, it has to be someone that's, you set the ground rules saying, look, if you're going to want me to be your accountability buddy, you're going to have to know that I am going to, at times, have to get quite serious on your ass. And as long as you're aware that that's what's going to be the case, then you can't really take umbrage if that person gets serious on your ass and says, look, you're now taking the Michael.
Yeah. Absolutely brilliant. Is that it, Paul? That was massive. That was absolutely brilliant.
Well, I mean, there's loads more that you can talk about, but I think the thing is, what you don't want to do is overwhelm. I think if people take away from this just a couple of things to help, look at those books, read those books, and just start as you mean to go on, then I think you've got it cracked.
Absolutely. So if you want to find out more about Paul, and I'm sure you do,
I'm
then
sure you do.
the links below this video. My link will be there as well. But thank you so much, Paul, for those simple but incredibly effective and powerful habits that you've shared. Really appreciate that. Give us a quick flash of your t-shirt.
The flash of the t-shirt is I've got a big chest and short arms, and it says T-Rex hates push-ups.
Perfect.
I'm very
You
as you
need
know,
an
Julie, I'm very
accountability
PC.
buddy for that press up thing. Anyway,
Yes.
enough said. Thank Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for watching.